In this next video, we are going to look at a multisensory approach to teaching handwriting. Now, when we talk about a multisensory approach, we refer to learning in such a way that it engages more than one sensory system at a time, which is very important because children have different learning styles. The most common forms of teaching handwriting is visual and auditory, and for some learners, this information can be confusing. Look at the letter B and D, and even listening to the sound B and D, they are very similar and difficult to distinguish apart for a young writer. This is where using a multisensory approach is useful because learners will be exposed to different ways of exploring letters and shapes without picking up a pencil. If we look at the different sensory modalities, we have firstly sight. And this is where you use your sight to see the letter. It's a visual representation around the classroom or prompts on their desks or activities like letter matching. The next modality is auditory. And this is where the learner listens to the teacher sound each letter. So some handwriting systems have songs or rhymes about the letters that they are forming, and this is another way to help learners become familiar with the different shapes of letters. The next modality is tactile, and here we want our learners to explore letters through touch. So writing letters in damp sand, shaving cream or rice is a good example. You can also write letters on a whiteboard and ask learners to wipe them off with their finger, so they will be following the correct shape of the letter. You can also cut letters out of sandpaper and ask them to trace over these letters. Anything that involves touch and feel for learners. Play-Doh is another great example. Learners can use Play-Doh to make and roll their own letters. Lastly, we look at Kinesthetic, and this is where learners learn through using their arms and body. So it's a whole body experience for them. And here they can trace shapes in the air or trace big numbers or letters written on paper and ask them to feel how these letters are formed. As mentioned earlier, children learn in different ways. And by using a multisensory approach, you are helping more learners give their brains more information about handwriting for them to store and use and recall later on. As Benjamin Franklin once said, "Tell me, and I may forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I learn."